Ooh, it's Piggy Power. We're going to do some pre-winter checks today. It was the first really hard frost this morning, so I thought it was the opportune time to do so. Okay, so what you want obviously is your engine to start every morning, for it not to break down, for you to see where you're going, for you to stop when you need to. Simple as that really during the winter, isn't it? So basics and engine checks. Obviously an engine bay is different with each car generally, but you'll have some basics. You'll have some sort of cap either there or in a container somewhere, and that'll be your coolant or antifreeze. You'll have a cap somewhere that will perhaps look a bit like that, and that'll be a screen wash. You'll have some possible power steering fluid, all electric these days, but you might have some fluid somewhere, some brake fluid, engine oil, and probably around there somewhere, or here, will be a battery where I put a turbo. My battery's in the boot. So let's start with the battery. We can't see it, I know, but you'll have a little gauge on there, and it'll be coloured, and it'll have a little key next to it, like black for charge, white for bad, green for good. But a lot of garages will do a free battery check now. They're a proper tester, worth getting it. It's free at the end of the day, and batteries die during cold weather, so it's quite likely there's a lot of people broken down this morning because their batteries have died overnight. So get it checked. That's nice and simple. Antifreeze, make sure you check it obviously when the engine's not running and it's cold, otherwise it'll go everywhere. Take your cap off. First thing to do is check your level. There'll be a gauge either inside or on the side of the bottle. And the other thing to do is check the strength. Antifreeze, depending on the type, has a life basically, and it wears out. So you stick your little checker in there. Either, again, a garage will do it for free. You can buy these for a few quid off the internet, and you fill it up, and then you check how many discs are floating according to the gauge on it, and that'll tell you whether it needs topping up, perhaps strengthening, or perhaps it needs changing. As I say, it only lasts 2 or 3 years. A lot of people forget about doing this with their servicing. Screen wash. Okay, so it's likely to freeze, isn't it? It's going through these tiny little pipes, and it's all gone frozen. So run it neat from now on. Don't just put water in it, and don't dilute it. It's for the sake of a couple of quid, trying to see where you're going and freezing up your windscreen. Put it in neat. Don't buy diluted either, that's a con. Pre-diluted, what a load of rubbish, like buying pre-diluted Ribena in it, what a con that is. So buy nice and neat screen wash. Check your local motor factors, they've normally got a deal on this time of year. Keep it topped up and keep it neat, that'll stop it freezing. Brake fluid, just make sure it's close to your max level. Top it up according to your manufacturer's recommended brake fluid. And again, a lot of garages are doing free brake checks these days, so if you can't check it yourself, get your brakes, make sure they're all okay. Power steering fluid, again, you might not have it, you might do. Make sure it's okay. Top it up with relevant fluid again. Check your manufacturer's book. Engine oil. Well, hopefully most out there know how to check your engine oil. You might have a gauge on the dashboard, but nothing like checking it for yourself. Just get a little bit of tissue, clean the dipstick off, dip it once again, check it's okay, and perhaps worth considering an engine oil change at this time of year and a service. It's cold, your engine's under more strain in the mornings, aren't we all, at the end of the day? And engine oil has to work harder, so if it's a bit old, for the sake of a few quid, get an engine oil change, or do it yourself. If you're not too confident, get a little manual for it. It's sake of about £25 of parts online. There goes the train, 9 o'clock morning train, thank you very much. Do an oil change yourself. I'll do a little guide at some point, but there are plenty of others on the internet to do. So just do an oil change. It'll help your engine, it'll prolong its life a little bit. Moving on around the car, do your lights check. Turn your lights on, walk around the car, make sure they're all nice and bright. And I might do a little guide for this, because I noticed a lot of people do change their bulbs, which is commendable, but they don't quite fit it right, and then you get a bad beam pattern, which one, fails MOT, and two, blinds everyone when you drive along, and you keep getting flashed, and you think, well, I haven't got my I-beam on. It's because you haven't fit your bulb right. So we'll talk about that at some point. Your windscreen, you want to see where you're going. So a couple of pointers here. Cold morning, 1, don't use hot water. 1, it freezes quicker than cold water. Science for you, I don't understand it, but it does. 2, probably crack your windscreen. It's not what you want, is it? So get a scraper and just get up a little bit earlier. Don't use your wiper blades, poor things, amount of people that do this, and then wonder why they can't see where they're going when it's raining. Do check your wiper blades, lift them up, check the rubber along the edge there, make sure there's no nicks and it's clearing nicely, and just make sure that you can use a little pin on your washers, that they're all nice and clear and clean, and then you can see where you're going. Grip levels, so we've got a couple of things to check. Your tyre pressures, of course. Most people have got a pump to pump up their football or their tyres on their bicycle or the kids' dinghies or whatever, and a little checker like this, which is about 3 quid, you just stick it on there when you take the cap off, and it'll tell you how much pressure you've got in your tyres and how much you need to adjust. For the sake of this, well, it saves you money then, doesn't it? 50p a time at Sainsbury's, that's like 3 quid. Obviously you want to check your tread, so just turn your wheels and have a good look. Get a torch if you need to. Most tyres, well all tyres, have got these little lumps in the tread, which are tread wear indicators. To find them, you will look along the edge of the tread and you'll see TWI, tread wear indicator. But that's 1.6 millimeters. And now that's the law here in Britain, that it must be more than that, across 3/4 of the centre of the tread. However, in winter, when you're getting down to that, well, you're just asking for trouble really. And a couple of accidents seen recently, probably down to poor tread. So consider if it's getting low, get them changed or get them checked. Alternatively, and I highly recommend this, is some winter tyres. You can see the different tread pattern. These are called sipes. They allow the tread to move around, keep warm, keep the tread pattern going, keep the grip pattern going, sorry. And of course they're made of a slightly different compound, softer slightly. Anything below about 7 or 8 degrees, and these are going to outperform these all day long. You're not going to lose any money in the long run, because while you're running on these are in your shed, whatever, garage, storing, not getting worn out. And 2, consider that actually you could save you money because you could stop having an accident. So, you know, not too bad really, is it? These cost me about 100 quid for a set. Second hand they were, but they were like brand new. I was well chuffed with those. You might not always get a bargain like that, but keep an eye out. There are places doing deals at this time of year. It really might just save you some money. Check with the insurance that it's okay though. There have been some questions over that recently. And don't try and save yourself some money and just get a set of fronts if you've got front wheel drive, or a set of rears if you've got rear wheel drive. I can stick my neck out there and say that if you've got a pair of these and a pair of normal road tyres, you're probably more dangerous than having just a full set of normal all year round tyres. It's just unpredictable handling. Now, final point for my pre-winter checks is make sure you get a little box or a little bag of goodies in your car. High-vis jacket. It's just essential really when it's getting cold and dark in the evening. Some bulbs, you've got jump leads, some fuses, there's a few tools I'm going to stick in there, a little bit of water perhaps for you or for your car, a fuel can just to get you out of trouble perhaps, some cheap cookies again if you get stuck somewhere and it's cold, a bit of food, and some foil blankets. These are like £1 for 2 on eBay or something, and I think they're brilliant. They're really lightweight and they can keep you warm if you find someone that's had an accident or you yourself get stuck for some reason. It's only a few quid to put all that in there in a box and stick it in the car. Don't weigh very much, and that will just get you out of trouble. Certainly I've managed to help a lot of people. I got myself out of trouble with a few of those bits and bobs. Not bad if it starts to snow and stuff. Get like a compact shovel and a bit of grit in there, perhaps a bit of salt. And actually one thing I need to put in there is I've got like an £8 mobile that I normally have in there during the winter. So there we have it, some pre-winter checks. So keep yourself safe. You do these few checks and you might just find that you have a better winter with motoring. Gets you from A to B, keeps you warm, keeps you safe. Have a good winter.